Welcome to lesson 28, improper fractions, mixed numbers, and decimal numbers. And I'm recording this from San Francisco, California. So let's get going on these. Example 1, where the directions say convert the following improper fractions to mixed numbers. Now, hopefully you know the difference between an improper fraction and a mixed number. An improper fraction is a fraction, where the numerator is greater than the denominator. And you'll notice all of these, 14 is greater than 5, 21 is greater than 8, 30 is greater than 4. And we're going to turn them into mixed numbers. So a mixed number is a whole number and a fraction. Now to do that, what you're going to do is do long division. So we're going to take our 5 and we divide it by, 14 divided by 5. So you're going to take your numerator and you're going to divide it by your denominator. So we do that and we would get a 2 and we multiply and we get a 10, we subtract, we get a 4. So you're not going to add a decimal point and keep adding zeros because it doesn't say to change the improper fraction to a decimal. It says to change it to a mixed number. So the number that you get up here is your whole number, and then you put your fraction over your divisor, your remainder over your divisor. So you get 2 4/5. And that is it. So let's try the next one. You're going to take your numerator and you're going to divide it by your denominator. So we take 8 into 20 and it goes 2 times. We get 16 and we subtract and we get 5. And so we're going to put the remainder over our divisor. So we get 2 and you can just leave the 2 there, and 5/8 is your final answer for that one. 2 5/8. So you're doing a long division problem, you're putting your remainder over your divisor. Let's do the next one. 30, the numerator, divided by the denominator. It goes in 7 times. 4 times 7 is 28. And you get 2. And we get 2 over 4. Now you might be tempted to stop there, but you need to reduce it. Once you get your fraction, you want to make sure that it's fully reduced. You need to reduce this one at 7 1/2 because 2 goes into 2 one time, 2 goes into 4 2 times, and that is your answer. So we took all of our improper fractions. It's improper because you have the bigger number on top, and we changed those into mixed numbers. They're mixed because you have a whole number and you have a fraction. Let's go on to the next part. Okay, we're going to go the other way around. Now we have a mixed number, and we're going to write it as an improper fraction. So we're going to have the bigger number over the smaller denominator. So here's how I like to do it, 7 4/9. I think this is how I learned in elementary school, and I've always done it that way. We're going to take 9 times 7, and we get 63. It's a times sign. So we're kind of going around in a circle. So 9 times 7 is 63, plus 4 would be plus 4 is 63 plus 4 is 67 over your denominator, which is 9. So the denominator is going to be the same. So 7 times 9 plus 4. So you just go around in the circle and you put it over your 9. And so now it's an improper fraction. So your answer is 67 over 9. We'll be doing a few more of these later on where you're going to try it yourself. So the way I do it is you just go 9 times 7 plus 4 and put that over your denominator. Okay, little switch. This time we're going to convert the following mixed numbers to decimals. Now you don't need to make them improper before you do this. You're just going to take, this is your whole number part right out here. So your answer is going to be 3 point something, and this one's going to be 32 point something. The whole number is to the left of the decimal point. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take our fraction, that's a proper fraction, 1/8, and we're going to make it into a decimal number. So we're going to take 1 divided by 8. Now obviously 1 cannot go into 8, so we're going to extend this. We're going to add our decimal point. So we get 10, and we're going to pop it up. As soon as you add that decimal point, pop it up. So we're going to get 1 times 8 is 8, and we're going to subtract and get 2. Now we want it to be into a decimal, so you don't want to have like a half decimal, half fraction thing. So you don't want to do 3.1 and 2/8. We're going to continue making that into decimal. So we're going to add a 0, keep extending that, bring down another 0. 0 comes straight down. 8 goes into 20. Yes, 8 does go into 20 2 times. 2 times 8 is 16. And we subtract again, and we keep going. So we're going to add another 0 and bring it down, and we get 40. 8 goes into 45 times. 5 times 8 is 40. And now we no longer have a remainder. So this is our 1/8. 1/8 equals 0.125. So we have our whole number 3, and then we have our 1/8, with which we just did the long division problem for. We get 1, 2, 5, and that's your final answer, 3 and 125 thousandths. Okay, we have a couple more examples. So actually just one more there. So we have 32, and I wrote that. That's our whole number part. Now we have to take our fraction, which is 1/5. If you can't see it, it's 1/5, and we're going to turn it into a decimal. It's a proper fraction. You have the smaller number on top. So when you go to divide, you're going to take 1 divided by 5. Again, 5 doesn't go into 1, so you're going to add a 0. And we pop the decimal point up, and this one works out nicely. 5 goes into 10 2 times. 2 times 5 is 10. And we bring that down, and we get a 0. And so we are done. So it's just going to be 1/5 is equal to 0.2. 1/5 and 1/8 are fractions that it's really handy if you memorize that 1/8 is 0.2. 1/8 is 1.25, and 1/5 is 0.2. Just like you should know that 1/2 is equal to 0.5. There's a few that you should know, and 1/4 is equal to 0.25. Okay, some fractions converted to decimals that you should kind of memorize. All right, let's go on. That's it for that page. Okay, so that's it for the lesson, but I'm going to give you some practice problems. So you have to be on the honor system here. I'm going to have you try a problem, and then you're going to pause the video, try the problem, and then start the video up and see if you got it right. So go ahead, here's A and B, try A and B, pause the video, and when you're done, start it up again. Okay, did you pause the video? All right, I'm going to do the problem. So hopefully you paused it and you tried it. You learn the most when you try it on your own. It's easy when you watch a teacher do it. So I'm going to take 14, the numerator. Remember, we're going to use correct terminology. The numerator divided by the denominator. So 3 goes into 14 4 times. 4 times 3 is 12. And we subtract it, and we get 2. Now, make sure that you read the directions carefully. It says convert the following improper fractions to mixed numbers. Now, it could say convert it into a decimal number, but it doesn't. It just says a mixed number, which is a whole number with a fractional part. So our answer is going to be 4, and you take your remainder over your divisor. And that is your final answer. All right, you should have done this one too. Hopefully you could have read that one. It's a little tough. So 23 divided by 5. So 5 goes into 23 4 times. 4 times 5 is 20. We get a remainder of 3. So our answer is 4 and 3, remember remainder over divisor, 5th. So I'm actually doing the practice problems for you. So saving you a little time. Okay, here we go. Let's move down to the next ones. It says convert 5 2/3 and 6 7/8 as improper fractions. So turn off the video And I want you to try to make both of those mixed numbers into improper fractions. Go. Okay, hopefully you turned off the video and tried these. I'll do these for you now, and you can see if you got the right answer. 5 2/3. So I'm going to take 3 times 5 is 15, plus 2 is going to be 17 over 3. Let's do the next one. 6 7/8. So we're going to take 6 times 7. Oops, no, 6 times 8. So it's going to be 48. So we're going this way, 6 times 8 plus 7. And we're going to get 55 over 8. So you're doing 6 times 8 plus 7. 48 plus 7 is 55/8. So those are those two answers. These are improper fractions from mixed numbers. Okay, they snuck this little guy in here, which wasn't in the lesson, so it's good we're doing this. We are to write 5 9/100 as a mixed number. Now, 9/100 is going to be written as 9 over 100. That's how you're going to work these decimal numbers. You count how many places there that you are from the decimal point, and that's how many zeros you add. Or you could just know this is the 10th place, this is the 100th place, so it's going to be 9/100. So if we're going to write this as a mixed number, our 5 is our whole number, the 9/100 is the fraction. So this is called a mixed number because it's mixed. You have a whole number and you have a fraction. Okay, I think we have one more. Okay, this one's a little bit different too. It says write 157 1/9 as a decimal number rounded to 2 decimal places. So turn the video off and give this one a try. Alrighty, let's try it. So we have our whole number part. Now we just need to do the decimal number part. So we're going to take 1, remember the numerator divided by the denominator. If it's a proper fraction, you're going to have to add a 0. So 9 goes into 10 one time, and we get 9. And look what happens. It's just going to keep repeating. And we're going to bring down a 1. And we have to add another 0 and bring it down. We're subtracting. And we're going to get a 0. And look what happens. It's going to be 1. Now, if it says 2 decimal places, you need to go to 3. So you need to keep dividing till you get to 3 places. So we're going to get 1 times 9 is 9. And we get 1, 0. It goes in another 1 time. 1 times 9 is 9. And you're going to continue on. You only have to go 3 places because we have to do the 3rd place. Remember how we do this? We circle the 2nd place and we put an arrow on top of the 3rd place. If it's 5 or greater, this 1 would become a 2, but it's not. It's only a 1, so it stays the same. So we would put, normally, if you were putting, turning 1/9 into a decimal, you would do something like this with repeating, or you could put it like this, 0.1 repeating. But they're asking us to round it to 2 decimal places. So you need to get in the habit of really reading the directions and doing what the directions tell you to do. So let's write this decimal number, let's write this as a decimal number rounded to 2 places. So it's going to be 157 and 11/100. So we rounded it, we looked at the 3rd spot, it doesn't make it go up, and we leave it a 1. And so our final answer is 157 and 11/100. So I'll be coming out with the next video tomorrow. So look for your email, check your email, and I'll try to keep you up to date with everything you need to do while I'm gone. Okay, so that is it for lesson 28.